Time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, here tonight with Daniel Starkand to celebrate a sweep of the Cincinnati Reds, the only wild card series that ends in a sweep. And Daniel, for old time's sake, I believe you brought a friend with you.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. I'm not alone. We got our buddy back. I know it's only a 2-game series, but we got to celebrate the wins while we can. And hey, it wasn't pretty. It got a little dicey in both games, but the Dodgers came through and got the sweep. So our buddy Broomy will be celebrating with us tonight.
I told Daniel we will celebrate every opportunity we can. Nothing is guaranteed in this life. 2-game sweep is a 2-game sweep in these stupid 3-game series. The Dodgers advance. They win 8-4. Yoshinobu Yamamoto shoves. But like the real story we're going to get to in a little bit is the gentleman who finished that game off, Roki Sasaki. I'm not entirely sure if it's like finding a 7 in a sea full of 2.5s, Daniel, or if Roki Sasaki is actually a 10. But either way, we're taking it. There's no complaints from me. So lots to get to. Mookie Betts was fantastic. Again, Yamamoto, Sasaki, the Dodgers offense does their job. The bullpen, yet again, does not. So thank you, as always, to everyone joining us live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, to those listening via podcast after the fact on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Daniel, what to you jumps out the most? Because, again, it could be Mookie Betts and the offense scoring 8 runs after scoring 10 last night. It could be Yoshinobu Yamamoto absolutely gutting it out through 6 2/3. Or to you is the storyline Roki Sasaki coming in and absolutely being dominant in the ninth?
I think the real answer is Yamamoto, just because of how incredible he was. But considering the circumstances of the bullpen and everything we've seen this season and in the last 2 days, I think Roki is the story here, if we're being honest. Like, you asked if he's a 7 surrounded by all 2s. He is surrounded by all 2s, but the way he looked tonight, that's a 10 right there. Like 101, good command. The splitter looked incredible. That the pitch he struck out Lux on was one of the filthiest pitches I've ever seen. So considering how much the bullpen could use a lockdown guy like that, I think what we saw out of Roki tonight was really encouraging.
11 pitches for Roki Sasaki. He got 8 swings and 4 whiffs over that. It's a perfect inning for him in the ninth. Adds a pair of strikeouts as well. He throws maybe the most important number here, Daniel. Of the 11 pitches, 9 of them were strikes. Just come in and throw strikes. Roki Sasaki, 101 miles an hour, putting it wherever he wanted. The nasty splitter. After the 8th inning they had, that was necessary for all of our blood pressure. Last night it was 10-2 lead, tying run on deck. Tonight it was 8-2 lead, tying run literally at the plate against Alex Vesia, and the Dodgers somehow survive. But that is the key. The Dodgers do survive. They do beat the Reds in this one. So lots to get to. Let's start with some super chats. 300. Well, Sheehan doesn't seem to be it. I mean, they aren't even close pitches. Is the 8th inning cursed, Daniel, or are you a little worried about Emmett Sheehan, the reliever?
I mean, I'm worried about everyone. It's impossible not to be right now. I will say, like, Emmett is a guy who started all year. Like, maybe he had a couple relief appearances. It's obviously a postseason game. I'm guessing nerves played a factor here. So I'm just going to hope that, like, you know, this was the first outing. He obviously struggled, but hopefully he could learn from it. Dave took him out in a interesting spot there, but I still think, you know, Emmett Sheehan is probably in the top half of guys you trust in the bullpen. And this is closer to what you said about a 7 surrounded by 2s. Like, it's mainly because they don't have a lot of guys they could trust right now, but it's not like, you know, Emmett Sheehan's off the NLDS roster. Like, he's still going to be in the mix, and he, like everyone else, just needs to pitch better.
Yeah, it seemed like that's what Dave was saying when he went out there in the middle of a batter. We're going to talk about that in a second. But it looked like Dave was talking to a guy and saying, hey, I'm going to need you at some point in this postseason. So don't let this be the moment that defines you. Don't let this be the moment that you carry with you. You're going to be okay. You're going to bounce back. But a 1-2 count, Dave Roberts goes and gets Alex Vesia. I would add that was not one pitch too soon. That might have been around 18 pitches too late.
Yeah.
But even crazier to me is the Reds go with a pinch hitter. I can't imagine being a pinch hitter that comes up in a 1-2 count and thankfully swings at a pitch that wasn't close. But great move by Dave in that moment, although I would add too late. But bizarre move, on the other hand, by Terry Francona.
Yeah, Tito's a Hall of Fame manager, but he made some
off tonight
decisions in this series with, some of the pitching changes, and then going to a pinch hitter with a 1-2 count is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, what chance does that guy have? Like, he pretty much has to swing at everything. Like, I don't think Vesia really threw it all that close to the zone, way up, and I don't blame the guy. So yeah, Dodgers got some help there, but yeah, overall, not an encouraging eighth inning from the bullpen.
And I'll say this, one thing that has perpetually been a frustration of mine with Dave Roberts that I think was reappeared tonight is his refusal to just go and get guys after 3 bad hitters. Like, yeah. I know it's Emmett Sheehan. I know you're trying to stretch him out. I know the lead is 6, but when it goes walk, single, wild pitch, walk, why is he still in the game?
Yeah.
By the way, that 4th hitter was Elly De La Cruz, who's terrible against left-handed pitchers and great against right-handed pitchers. He gets left in to walk Elly De La Cruz, sacrifice fly, and then he's still in against Benson, who, yes, is another lefty. Now, that's probably why they didn't want to go to Vesia, because they didn't want Andujar to end up coming into the game. But eventually Dave decides, we can't handle this. We're not going to do it. But man, oh man, like, I just need Dave to manage with more urgency and say, if a guy doesn't have it, because every single one of us could tell you after that first batter that Sheehan didn't have it, he can't be left in there to face. I mean, literally, he faced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 batters. He should have been done after 3. He got to his 6th.
I hear what you're saying, but I also do want to recognize that this wasn't like a 1-run game. Yeah. Like, it was at the time, it was like 8-2. It gets to 8-4. Like, obviously, we're all super nervous, and rightfully so. But yeah, I guess the tying run gets to the plate there in the 8th. But I do think this early in the playoffs, you do want to at least give guys a chance to kind of figure it out. Obviously, if it's a 1-2 run game, totally different story. Yank them as quickly as possible if they don't have it. But considering these are guys you're going to have to lean on, you do want to try to let them figure it out. But I'm with you. Like, it was probably a couple batters too late with Sheehan. Like, he clearly didn't have it, and they, tried to let him work through it, but it got to the point where it got a little dicey there. So I guess credit to Dave for going and getting him when he did. Like, after that 0-2 pitch to Benson that almost hits him, like, It was like, all right, like, that's enough. Like, I'm going to get him. No more funny business. No more trying to let him figure it out. Like, at that point, he went and got him. And I, you brought it. I didn't really think about, going the point you made about going to Vesia at the start of the at-bat, and then they bring in Andujar. So I guess that makes a little sense. But I still, in that situation, I'm still trusting Vesia against Andujar over Sheehan over Will Benson when he clearly didn't have it.
Yeah, I think the batter before was Elly De La Cruz. That was the 4th batter. And if you haven't been following, Elly De La Cruz is dramatically worse against left-handed pitching than he is against right-handed. And again, to me, it's like, it doesn't even have to be Vesia. Like, get Robleski warming up. Like, I mean, it sounds blasphemous to say, but like, maybe Tanner Scott. Like, nobody wants him in that spot, but like, I'm like, literally anybody but Sheehan, and give me bad splits against Elly De La Cruz, because he's the one guy that I'm terrified can kill me with one swing. So again, it ends up working out, I suppose, for the Dodgers and Dave Roberts, but man, oh man, did we get to stress in the 8th. Aaron says, honestly, feel good about the pen. Aaron, congratulations, my friend. Blake and Roki looked fantastic. Vesia looked better. Awful from Sheehan, but I still trust him. He has earned a pass. I've been on the I Trust Blake Trinan train here for a few days. The stock price has climbed a little. We're not ready to cash out completely, and we're not declaring ourselves millionaires either, but couple nice outings in a row for my guy Blake Trinan. Roki Sasaki looked good. So I guess to Aaron's point, maybe you trusted 0 guys yesterday, and now you have 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that feeling good about the bullpen, but I will say feel good about Roki and Blake Trinan. Even though as bad as he was to end the season, he always finds a way to come through in the big moments. So, yeah, there's two guys, I guess, but obviously the Phillies aren't the Reds, so there are bigger challenges ahead. So if they're struggling with this Reds lineup that's well below average, like, man, it's not going to get any easier.
Apes Against the Machine with the super chat. We appreciate you. Kershaw pitching next round. I guarantee it. I would be shocked if it's as a starter because they only went 2 games. You're going to get Ohtani, Glasnow, Snell, and Yamamoto in some order. But given what we've seen out of the bullpen, like, he has to be on the next roster, right?
Sure.
Like he's a middle of the pack reliever for this team at worst. And I would say Ben Kasparius, might want to get his arm warmed up a little bit as well, because I'd have Kasparius over Enriquez, and I'm finding a spot for Clayton Kershaw in this next round.
No doubt. And I think Kershaw is a guy that you could at least trust to like come in and throw strikes and not be super nervous. Like that's the part that has made me so angry with these last 2 games. Like you have big leads in both of them. Like there's zero excuse to be walking guys. Like
against a team that can't hit home runs either, by the way. Like they're not going to punish you.
Yeah. And even if they could, who cares? Like let them hit a couple to the moon and then we'll lock in and figure it out. But when you're walking guys and now the base is loaded and one hit could do damage, that's just, that's you're taught that at a very young age. Like if you're pitching with a big lead, throw strikes. That period, point blank. So I think I honestly I trust Kersh to do that. Like either of these games when it's like the 7th or 8th inning and you got a 6 to 8 run lead, whatever it is, like I would trust Kersh in that situation more than a lot of these other guys.
Real quick, because we're going to have plenty of time to discuss this. I mentioned I would put Kasparius on this roster ahead of Edgardo Enriquez because, again, he doesn't seem like he would be too scared. He's been there. I would have Kershaw on the roster. I would probably take Alex Call off of the roster. I only say Call because clearly they want Justin Dean as the center field replacement with Tommy Edman unavailable to play out there. That would assume they're still keeping 3 catchers, so depending on Will Smith's health. But to me, it seems like maybe that would be the move, is get an extra pitcher for a 5-game series, and either Call or Dean would be the odd man out unless they're willing to go down to 2 catchers. That just seems unlikely to me unless Will Smith has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I guess Will Smith is the question there. Where's he at? But yeah, I guess you could take off Rushing because I don't really know too many scenarios where Dalton Rushing is going to be used. But the same goes for Alex Call, right? So yeah, I'm with you. They'll probably go with an extra pitcher moving forward. And yeah, I think it's Henriquez is a tough one just because the stuff is so nasty. But after what we saw last night, like he just had zero clue where it was going, and I'm pretty sure like last postseason he was maybe on the roster for a round or 2 and didn't look great there either. Yeah. So it may just be a little early for him. Like let's get him, on the roster for a full, 162 game season. Let him settle into his big league career, and let's get a guy like Kasparius, who pitched well in the postseason last year, kind of got a raw deal at the end of this year. I know they jerked him around his role a lot, and his performance suffered because of it. But I still think he's good he gets right-handed hitters out, and for the most part, he throws strikes. So
yeah. Bonda's the other guy we haven't mentioned, and I'd have to go back and do some math as far as how many pitchers they can actually add to this roster. But I think he's another guy that, again, I just feel like I trust him more than some of these other guys to at least come in and throw strikes. So we've got a third hopping on with us, our guy Scott Geirman hopping in to join us. Scott, congratulations on a sweep of the Cincinnati Reds. The Dodgers did what no other wildcard team could do, and just a clean little 2-0 sweep, move it along. So good night for us.
Oh, good night for us. I mean, clean. It was clean until it wasn't at both times in the game. But yes, happy victory night, happy victory Wednesday. Look, I mean, this is how I'd hoped it would go. We talked about it the last few days that just make this short, sweet, save Ohtani for the National League Division Series round there. Don't have to maneuver too much around. Stay on schedule with that. It's not that the Dodgers work themselves into a bye here, but with as much starting pitching as you have, Jeff, now you don't have to use Shohei Ohtani. You don't even have to think about using Tyler Glasnow. Emmett Sheehan went out just for a little blip. And now you're ready to go into a National League Division Series round with, it's some Titans. It's Dodgers and Phillies. It's going to be a big battle, but I'm glad they finished it up in 2.
Yeah, and by the way, just to clean it up, the Dodgers did only carry 11 true pitchers, not including Ohtani, in this series. So technically, they could go net plus 2 starting pitchers total. So if one guy comes off, you could add 3 new guys on, such as Kershaw, Kasperius, and Bonda, if you wanted to. Scott, I was asking Daniel this, and I know it's immediate, quick gut reaction here, but I find it hard to believe that Clayton Kershaw, as a relief pitcher, isn't going to be on this next roster. Maybe I'm wrong. But as Daniel said, I just trust him to come in and throw strikes, which I don't have a ton of guys that are on that list now. Are there any other moves that you expect to see over the next couple of days for the Dodgers? Is it Kasperius? Is it Bonda? Is Call or Dean or Rushing coming off the roster? What do you think?
I would say Justin Dean is the first one for me immediately. That's, he had a little bit of a flub there. And when you're in a very, when you're in a role,
replacement,
when you are a defensive replacement, you better make sure you're on your P's and Q's there. And it didn't look so good. So, Justin Dean, thank you for your service this postseason there. But I think that for me would be the kind of the easiest one. But I heard you talking about Dalton Rushing and having Will Smith there. I know they're talking about that if Will Smith needed to stay in to catch and stuff like that. I still think they're okay carrying the 3 catchers. I still think that's a big advantage with some maneuverability and some of the guys they have. I don't think it's a detriment to them to carry the 3 catchers, Rortvedt, Dalton Rushing, and Will Smith. You can maneuver stuff how you want it. I think they could do that going forward there. And I think, Jeff, from what we saw the last few games of the regular season, even Dave Roberts started to have a little bit more faith in what Dalton Rushing was doing at the plate. He looked good. He looked on time, balanced at the dish. So I'm okay if they want to carry the 3 catchers. It's where we get toward the bullpen now, where some of these guys, and Ricardo Enriquez, Dan, you were talking about the stuff. It's just, where the hell are the strike throwers? Why can't it be easy? Why can't you just go out there? You have a massive lead. Just go throw strikes. I can't leave Clayton Kershaw off another roster. Not happy.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting too. I mean, the only reason I had Dean still on is because they kept putting him in, and because they don't have a true center fielder with Tommy Edman unavailable to play. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, I think there's a whole lot of things that could go left or right or up or down. So something to keep an eye on, and something we'll be talking about on this channel for the next couple of days. Shout out to 4,500 people in here live with us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Dodger fans ready to celebrate on Victory Wednesday. We all get the night off tomorrow, so shout out to the Dodgers. Well, Scott doesn't get a night off during the day. Bruce and I don't get a night off at night, but we get a night off from our freaking bullpen, which we'll take.
From the nerves.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine this bullpen versus Schwarber, Harper, and Castellano. I don't want to. Just give me 2 days before I have to imagine that, please. Like, geez, Shohei, just give me 9. I was ready for Roki to throw 150 pitches tonight. We're going to get to him in a second. Ismail says, burn 2 starters. Now got to toss 3 bums. Shohei, Glass, and Kershaw. What? Ismail, with all due respect, we appreciate the super chat. I think the letters BU, M, and S mean something different than you do. So we're
also they'll be able to set up their pitching pretty well. Like, they play Saturday and then Monday is game 2. Like, they'll be fine when it comes to pitching.
Yeah. If they really wanted to, Snell could pitch game 2. If they wanted to move him up. So Jedi Engineer, I think we all expect to drop Dean for the next series. Does that mean you add Kershaw and Bonda back to the roster? Scott, if you had to rank Kershaw, Bonda, and Kasperius as far as order, would you do that one? Kershaw, then Bonda, then Kasperius? Do you think that's like the most likely guy to be on this next roster?
I'd say so. I really would. We talked a lot about how Anthony Bonda's, being left off the roster there had a little bit more to do with some other things than on-field performance. But it would be Kershaw, Bonda, and then Kasperius. I've been a big fan of Ben Kasperius, and this last year starts out as a reliever, goes in as a starter, has a hiccup, put him back in the bullpen, just usage issues. I think threw him way off his game there. I know he's with the taxi squad, in LA right now. But I would keep it right at that order. I know he's got terrific stuff there, some postseason experience, but it would stick in that order for me.
Daniel, same thing for you?
Yeah, I think we're going to see Bonda on the roster. I think the main reason he was left off this series is just because the Reds are very right-handed heavy. But when you look at the Phillies, Schwarber and Harper are obviously the 2 big dogs, but they got some other big lefties as well. So I think having a guy like Bonda makes sense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many lefties they want to go with. And if somebody like Enriquez comes off, do they just replace him with a lefty or go with Kasperius? So will be interesting to see. Let's see. Grayson just says we must be allergic to the 8th inning. Man, every the seventh inning hasn't been super kind to us either, but mostly the eighth inning so far in this one. 300 says the play that pissed me off most was Kiké's nonchalant play in the eighth. That was lazy as heck and can't happen. I'm just going to say if that's the play that pissed you off the most, like you had yourself a great night. You may have missed Teoscar Hernandez in the first inning. You may have missed Teoscar Hernandez, as far as I'm concerned, just lollygagging down first and not beating out a throw that would have put another run on the board. So there were a couple frustrating ones to me. I didn't like Kiké's, but that wasn't in my top three, I guess is what I would say. Jose with the super chat covering up Daniel's face. We love you, Daniel. He says, bases loaded with no outs, our ace on the mound, and I'm cool as a cucumber. We get to the eighth, up 8-2, and watching that inning, I felt sick. Have you seen enough? Do we have a choice? Bless Roki. We're going to take this down so we can see our guy, Daniel. Daniel, Roki Sasaki in that eighth inning, or excuse me, in the sixth inning, was absolutely fantastic. It was a leadoff single, another single for Spencer Steer, Gavin Lux singles off the plate. And then you get Hayes, who grounds out to Mookie, makes a great play, gets the out at home. Strikeout of Sal Stewart, strikeout of Ellie De La Cruz, and he was nailed. And he was the one on the mound telling everybody else, hey, calm down, Ben. Calm down, everybody. We're going to be good. We're going to be good. I got you. That was an ace moment for Yamamoto. And I'm glad in some ways the pen is as bad as it is, because if not, he might not have gotten that moment. Instead, he does, and he capitalizes.
Yeah, he was incredible. I mean, he was great all season, but over the last month or so, he's been the best pitcher in baseball. Like, he's been on fire. The command is pinpoint. We know he's got great stuff. He's been worth every penny. So yeah, I would expect more of that. This rotation is really impressive. Like, there's every guy they're trotting out there. You have trust not only that they could be effective, but they could also go deep into games as well. And what did Yoshi finish with? 113 pitches. Yeah, 113 pitches, a career high. Which I gotta say, I like Dave. I like Dave pushing these guys. Just obviously, we all know the bullpen ain't it, so might as well push the starters as far as you could take them.
Well, and Scott, the thing I loved about that last Yamamoto at bat is the Dodgers knew they had Ellie De La Cruz right where they wanted him. And I was looking at my wife, who obviously watches some baseball, but not a ton. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy can't hit the curveball. They're just going to pepper this guy with curveballs. He missed with one fastball that was supposed to be up and ended up right down the middle of the plate. Thankfully was fouled off. But the scouting report on Ellie De La Cruz apparently is out, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto had the perfect pitch for that situation, Scott.
Yeah, when Ellie came up there, I kept thinking back to an at-bat Ellie had against Paul Skeens, and he got a fastball top zone and put a deep right field out for a homer there. So I was trying to keep that out of my mind. And as I'm watching the game, I'm talking to Blake Williams at the same time, and I'm just saying out loud, I'm like, I need curveballs. Curveball. And he gets to the 1-2 count here, after the couple foul balls. And I'm like, Benny, just stick with the curveball. Don't change anything. Yamamoto, stick with the curveball. Don't change anything. Gets it, has terrific depth, strike three, and just, the signature roar that we've come to love from Yamamoto. I said it this morning with Anthony. I'm like, he's a 5'10", but the dude's built, he's a lion. He's got it in him. Like, he's ready for this stuff. So just packs a punch. And I was super pleased that his pitch mix today had 28% curveballs. It just looked incredible. Like, he looked in command of his stuff there outside of, the first inning flub and having to throw some extra pitches. He could have gone much deeper into this game. And Yamamoto gave that final inning there. It was, somebody said in chat, it was a signature moment. Definitely another signature moment for him.
Yeah, you mentioned the 113 pitches. I mean, there's a ton of numbers to go over. Obviously, 0 earned runs for Yoshinobu Yamamoto in this game. If not for Teoscar Hernandez, would have been a 0. But I look at some of the other metrics. Scott, you mentioned how many pitches he threw. 6 different pitches thrown by Yamamoto tonight. Yeah. And the result of that is not only the swing and miss. He gets 17 whiffs on 52 swings. So 1 out of every 3 swings was a miss. But the number that just jumps off the page to me, he got 25 called strikes tonight, 12 with his fastball. And you might look at that and say, how do you get a called strike with the fastball? That's the one pitch that doesn't move. It's because dudes had no clue what pitch was coming next. And when that thing hummed up at them at 96 miles an hour on average tonight, they had no chance. They're watching that pitch, Daniel, get right past them. And so Yamamoto, we know about some of these signature pitches. We know the curveball. We know the splitter. But the fact that he's mixing in a sinker, a cutter, 3 sliders on top of it, and just has command of every single one of those pitches, it seems like that's what makes him so unique to this Dodgers team is the breadth of pitches he can throw. And I should say unique because Ohtani's very similar. But the fact that these guys can throw 6 pitches at you and land all of them for strikes, you have to guess at some point.
Yeah, he's as polished as they come. We knew that, when he was coming over. There's a reason, he got 325 million, whatever it was. But yeah, he's just been over the last month. He's just been pinpoint. And not, I agree with your point about how when you could command so many pitches, they have no clue what's coming. But also, like, sometimes even if they know a fastball is coming, let's say, for example, and he just dots it right on the corner, like, there's nothing you could do about that as a hitter. And that's what we've been seeing. Like Scott said, if Teo doesn't make that error in the first inning, this might have been an 8 or 9 inning outing for Yamamoto. So yeah, really encouraging. We'll see how they line up their rotation, but man, I feel good about all these starters.
Yeah, and just to clarify, you disagree with Josh Reddick about whether or not Yamamoto is worth the $325 million, Daniel?
I disagree with Josh Reddick on everything. Like, whatever take that guy has, I'm on the other end.
If you missed it, he's got a tweet that goes around pretty regularly now where he says, like, I can't believe they're going to pay $325 million for a guy who's never pitched in the majors or something like that. And it's just perfect for a guy who sucks. Scott, lots to talk about here, but anything else before we move on from Yamamoto quickly?
Yeah. The last thing I'd like to bring up with Yamamoto, and you're talking about his curveball and why his fastball is so good when he gets so many, called strikes looking. The depth on his curveball right now is in such a good place that he's landing it in the zone. You're seeing a lot of get me over strikes with the curveball. He's putting the curveball in the zone. It's just such a good pitch for him right now. He's got such a feel for it. So if you look at his overlay and you look at his pitch spread here, a ton of curveballs in the zone. So if that's what they're looking for and they're just spitting on it, then that's what's happening. The at-bat right before Ellie De La Cruz might have been my favorite of the day. Sal Stewart, Yamamoto misses fastball down and into him. Then he goes cutter down, gets a whiff. Then he goes slider down, gets a whiff. So same type of plane there, stuff breaking away. And then he goes curveball down and away. So it has the same shape right out of hand and just falls off the table and gets a swinging strike. And I literally looked at, I watched it and I said, God damn. Like, that's pitching, man. Like, it was fun. Like, when you have guys like this who can command all this stuff, those are aces. These are guys you sit back and you think to yourself, you hope to see them for your team for a really long time. And that just a terrific job by Yoshinobu tonight.
Yeah. And again, like, on everything we're just saying, add on, just sprinkled on top, the fact that this guy is just absolutely not afraid of the biggest moments, right? Like, it's one thing to be able to do everything we just said. It's a completely different thing to go out in game 2, knowing that your bullpen is a complete dumpster fire and that your team needs you for like 6 minimum, 8 to 9 ideal. Your defense lets you down in the first inning. And for him to come back and retire like 13 in a row, I believe he retired at one point. He was absolutely unbelievable. And on a night when they needed him to be. And so kudos to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He is an absolute ace, and the Dodgers just get to choose. Do you want Blake Snell, who's unbelievable in big games? Do you want Yamamoto, who's unbelievable in big games? And then they're going to go to Ohtani and Glasnow, who, by the way, has been pretty good in big games. So a wealth of starting pitching, which is a unique thing for this group. Some more super chats here. Arun says, forever Laker fans, new Dodger fans since last year for Shohei. Is it just me, or do fielders try to look cool before throwing to a base for an out? Rookie doubt, sorry. It's always so close and gives me tension. Arun, welcome. We appreciate you. Lakers fan, welcome. I assume you found us via Lakers Nation, our guy Daniel Starkand down here. Yeah, absolutely. Have you seen Kiké Hernández catch fly balls in the outfield? Like, it's just all about looking cool, unless you're Teoscar Hernandez, and then it doesn't always look so cool. But yes, pretty much normal around here. Phil with the huge super chat. This is why I said put Sheehan in the bullpen at the end of the season so he could get used to it. In the playoffs for a young guy, it's important. Still have faith, but the front office and Roberts mishandled it. Most importantly, though, Dodgers win. Daniel, your thoughts on this? Do you think the Dodgers made a mistake by letting this be Sheehan's first bullpen opportunity?
I mean, he pitched out of the bullpen, on some occasions. They had an opener for him and whatnot, but unfortunately, they didn't really have the luxury of doing that this year. Like in other years where they're winning 105 games and they clinched the division on September 8th, then yeah, you could mess around with roles and get ready for the playoffs. But the Dodgers clinched the division on the last weekend, basically. So, they didn't really have the luxury of doing that. I know they had a 6-man rotation going, but They wanted to keep guys on their schedules, and I think the way they handled the starting rotation all year has been great. So yeah, in a perfect world, they would have gotten Sheehan 3 or 4 relief outings, but doesn't always work out that way when you got a slim division lead.
Yeah, and to Daniel's point, 15 appearances at the major league level, 12 of them were starts. They were all bulk appearances, but
Yeah.
I mean, even this one, they were expecting him to go out there and get two innings worth. To me, it felt more like nerves than it did like he didn't know what he was due coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
But who knows with this group? Scott, what do you think? Like, was that a mistake by the Dodgers not letting him get some reps out of the pen?
Prior, I mean, maybe, but it's how it shaked out. Dave Roberts was focused, and they were focused on, and I mean, they probably didn't expect the relievers to be as bad as they were for so long heading into the postseason. So, trial by fire with them and Sheehan. I question the preparation for that role. I don't doubt it going forward, but I think they'll maneuver some things and tweak it. So maybe, mentally he's prepared a little bit better. He has a feel for the slider, so he can get a little bit more chase on that. It's more of a competitive pitch. The only thing I doubt is the preparation going into tonight. I don't disagree with it. It was a good spot for him, get his feet wet on there. Just didn't work out for him tonight. I still believe in the player, still believe in the stuff. I would like to see him again have an opportunity in a spot like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ethan says bullpen has no chance versus the Phillies, I'm afraid. Well, hey, if they're averaging 9 runs a game, maybe it won't matter. We'll see.
People say that. I got to say this real quick. While you were talking a bit ago about the people yapping about the Philadelphia Phillies, and all the lefties they have, the Dodgers faced the Philadelphia Phillies in LA in earlier, like mid-September. They opened with Anthony Bonda, went to Emmett Sheehan in a bulk outing. Then Jack Dreyer, crapped to bed, Alex Vesia, Tanner Scott, and Blake Treinen. And they lost 6-5. If Jack Dreyer doesn't have a blow-up outing out of nowhere, which is super rare for him, and Anthony Bonda doesn't give up a homer to Schwarber, then none of this matters. This is a bullpen where with the lefties that they have, that's the group we felt confident. So all this tidal wave stuff about the bullpen, I think the Dodgers feel comfortable with where they're at. This offense can go toe-to-toe with anybody. I don't understand the major panic button. I really don't. It's perplexing for me.
You don't understand the panic about the Dodgers bullpen?
No, that the Phillies are just going to tidal wave the Dodgers. That's what people are talking about, that they stand no chance against the Phillies. Well, I think can slug with anybody.
Totally. I think it's the bullpen. I think people are not worried about will they win the series necessarily. I think it's if this group needs to go get 9 outs against that Phillies lineup, they struggled against a Reds lineup that is anemic. And now they're going to go to a team where mistakes are going to get punished. I think that's the fear, not will they eventually win the series? I think it's just the bullpen is going to be a roller coaster with a lot more downs than ups.
Yeah, look at the names that they use, though. Edgardo Enriquez, who we know that we talked about this, bringing him in a spot. Alex Vesia, I love what you guys talked about last night in the postgame. Why the hell are you bringing somebody in who is such an adrenaline-based pitcher in a 10-2 blowout? It just makes no sense to do that. It just, the implementation of the relievers this 2-game series just felt odd. It felt weird. And Roki Sasaki, the one who hasn't been there all year, is the only one who made sense. It just felt ridiculous. So I expected
my guy Treinen.
Yes, Treinen. One batter though. One batter. God, give the guy an up down. You want it anyways. But I think, reset here and then, get more of a grasp on what you have out there, Dave. Front office, figure it out. You've got the players to use it. You're going to have the lefties at your disposal. Yeah, the people saying the bullpen has issues, I get it. But look at the names that they use. Look at the ones who have had success against the Phillies and find a little solace in that. So I'm okay with it. I get the pause, but the panic shouldn't be this big.
Hey, look, I love it. I'm usually the optimist here, and Scott's telling me to giving me the Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the Dodgers bullpen. I love it. Daniel, are you buying any of what Scott's selling?
I don't know if I'm quite there, but I think overall we should have confidence in the series. We have the clear starting pitching advantage. We have a better lineup, a more, a deeper lineup. And I know people are, commenting saying the bullpen blew 2 out of 3 to the Phillies. But you also have to keep in mind, they took Shohei out after 5 no-hit innings in one of those games. And part of me thinks that if it's a similar situation, they'll let Shohei go another inning or two. And that takes some outs away from the bullpen in the postseason. So I think, as we saw in this series, Dave is going to ride the starters as long as he can. And look, baseball is a weird sport. There's clearly some mental stuff going on in that, bullpen right now. You see other guys come in and struggle, and when you're coming in, you're all right, I'm gonna get us back on track here, and maybe they're trying a little too hard, but it only takes, one or two good performances and all of a sudden things are turned around. So I don't doubt the talent. Obviously, we've seen, the bullpen has not been great for the last couple months, but like I said, that could change at any time. And, if your starters are giving you 7 innings and your offense is doing what it should, then I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. Real quick, our guy Daniel's got to take off. So, Daniel, we appreciate you hopping in. Under the weather tonight, but battling. He's got Broomy with him as well. So, Daniel, we appreciate it. We'll let you get back to some Lakers preseason coverage, media day quotes, and that kind of thing. Check out Daniel's stuff over on Lakers Nation. Feel better. All right, Daniel?
Yeah, appreciate it. And hopefully I get to bring this guy out again at some point this postseason.
Yes, sir. Please.
See you, buddy.
Please. See you, Daniel.
See you guys.
All right. Our guy Daniel taking off. Scott and I are going to take us home. Robert asks, given that Glasnow didn't pitch, do you think he starts one of the first 2 games of the Philly series? To me, it makes sense to go Ohtani, Glasnow, but you could talk me into, Scott, going Ohtani and then Snell and then saving Glasnow for wherever the days fit in, whether it's Yamamoto gets game 3 or if Glasnow needs 3 and Yamamoto 4. How would you do it?
Pretty much what you just said right there. If they're able to get Snell into game 2 there, I think that'd be great on the road and get Glasnow a start at home. I would love that because it goes 2-3-2. And it's best of 5. Best of 5 there.
But it's like game 1 is Saturday, then it's a day off, then game 2 is on Monday. So it's a weird one.
Yeah. I would roll it out like that. If you're able to get Blake Snell in as many games as possible. Blake Snell went 7 shutty last time he faced the Philadelphia Phillies, struck out 12, allowed 2 hits, just 2 walks. I love every opportunity Blake Snell gets to take the mound. Yeah. If it's possible, get him out there for game 2 there. That's how I would kind of roll it. And then you can kind of maneuver it after that how you want. But Ohtani game 1, let it ride, man.
Yeah, and actually they don't play Tuesday either. So it's 1 game, day off, 1 game, day off, 1 game. So Yamamoto would be your game 3 starter because he could go on a full week's rest pitching next Wednesday. So, maybe a loser of this whole situation is that Tyler Glasnow, who knows what his next start is going to be, but you're going to get Ohtani in game 1 on Saturday. Potentially, in theory, we would both say Snell on Monday, Yamamoto on Wednesday for game 3. And then it is game 4 would be on Thursday. So then that is where it gets interesting. And probably Glasnow is your game 4 guy because you're not going to bring Ohtani back from Saturday. And then game 5 would be on Saturday. So Ohtani could pitch game 5 with a full week of rest, 6 days off in between. So it kind of sets up nicely for the Dodgers. Whereas if you're the Phillies trying to find 4 starting pitchers that you can throw, given how these games break up, I think the scheduling here, Scott, to me favors the Dodgers.
100%, without a doubt. Like having the wealth of starting pitching that the Dodgers have, and how they took care of business against the Phillies the last time, the Dodgers are going to piece together as best they can to replicate that same success. The extra rest does nothing but aid the Dodgers, and that's why having a quick 2-gamer here, let them reset, take a breath. You didn't, you exerted Blake Snell and Yoshinobu a bit. Let them take their time, reset every other arm. And now you can analyze and then go ahead there. That's my confidence with it. The same arms we saw against the Philadelphia Phillies the last time. Chat, I know you're on me about liking the bullpen. I hate the bullpen. I'm talking about the success of the lefties in the blow-up start or the blow-up outing from like Justin Robleski and the odd stuff that we saw from like Jack Dreyer just allowing 2 runs. I think that they have enough confidence the lefties can take care of business there. It's now about finding out who from the right-hand side you can do it with. And now you have Dave Roberts. Jeff, how surprised are you, or pleasantly surprised Dave Roberts is allowing these starters to go 110 pitches into the game?
He has no choice. I mean, I think he said before the game, like the 4 best pitchers on this roster are all starters. Like he has no choice but to do that, given the way the bullpen has pitched. And, they've rewarded him. I'll say Snell struggled a little in that 7th inning. Thankfully, they had a nothing lead, so it didn't matter. But he's going to have to keep riding these guys. And I do think the fact that they can go 4, because again, you look at the schedule, Saturday is game 1, Thursday is game 4. So unless you're bringing a guy back, if you're the Phillies on 3 days rest to pitch game 4, you're going to have to find a 4th starter. The interesting thing will be, and I want to ask you real quick, are we sure it's going to be Tyler Glasnow in that spot? But to me, I love that Dave is trusting these guys because they're going to get plenty of rest. You don't need to worry about bringing them back on short rest because of the depth. And realistically, Yamamoto's 118th pitch is better than the first pitch of like every dude out of the bullpen except for maybe Roki Sasaki and Blake Trinan at the moment. So other than those two guys who you probably need to save for later, I'm all in on how Dave is treating this. But I did want to ask you, like, any chance Clayton Kershaw is starting game 4 and Tyler Glasnow's a bullpen guy? Let another righty in the bullpen? It would terrify me. I wouldn't do it. I'm just asking the questions.
It would definitely, like, to start out a game against, Kyle Schwarber and then Bryce Harper right there. It would be, yeah, man, it would give me some shell shock, especially if it happens at home. You know what I mean? It would definitely be, I'd have to be sold on it, maybe in the moment. I don't know if I had time to think about it, I would talk myself out of it. If you asked me in a quick snap decision, I'd be like, yeah, why not? But if it's in the heart of a game and the Dodgers are up by a few, we talk about run prevention, Jeff. We talk about it's at a premium right now, as in, to the bare bones of baseball, that's what it is. But when it comes to what the Dodgers need out of the bullpen, it's, run prevention. You need someone who's going to go out there and throw strikes, let the ball, ball doesn't lie. So if it comes at the cost that, Clayton Kershaw comes out of the bullpen for, if he is, gives him a couple innings here, but we'll see, man. I'd be okay with it, but you got to have at least a 3-run lead. You can't have it where he's coming in with traffic. I can't have that happening.
Real quick, who do you trust more out of the bullpen, Kershaw or Glasnow?
Tyler Glasnow.
Glasnow is a much better pitcher. It just like we saw what Sheehan did coming out of the bullpen. I think that was more nerves than inability. I'm just saying Glasnow, of all the guys where it's like, well, I wonder how this guy's going to do if you mess up his routine and do something he's never done before. Glasnow's at the top of the list of the guys that I'm like, I don't know about this one. So I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you that I'd prefer Glasnow coming out of the pen rather than Kershaw. But the unpredictable situation with a guy like Glasnow scares me, which is why game 4, Dodger Stadium, give me Glasnow all day, every day, and Kershaw out of the bullpen.
I get it.
Mamad asks, can Roki pitch on back-to-back days? Looked like his confidence is back and should close games for us this postseason. He has not done it, but like at this point, he's young. He used to be a starter. Why the hell not?
He's pounding the zone. The stuff looks good. Not a lot. Hasn't had stress on him yet. I mean, you have to have trial by fire. This is how it was going to be. On the morning shows, we talked about how you have to keep an eye out for how Dave Roberts pushes these guys. He's going to put them in unconventional spots, and those are the spots that are going to be in the postseason. You'll see Dave Roberts be, pushed in that decision. You might see it if you tune into the San Diego Padres Chicago Cubs series. Mike Schilt is running his relievers to the ground. So we'll see tomorrow who he uses. I know that's not what Dave Roberts is hoping to do with his guys, but there will be an instance that Dave Roberts has Roki out there in the pen, and he just pitched the day prior. And I think he'll be up for the task there. But Jeff, there's just stuff looks so good. The fastball shape, who cares what the fastball stuff is if he's pumping 100? You can get away with that. The splitter looks disgusting, and his arsenal just, that sink piece just looks electric. So all green lights for Roki Sasaki. I think we're ready to see him on a back-to-back.
I'm with you. Rosemary says, I feel personally victimized by the 8th inning. You and all of us. Cantankerous, new rule for Dodgers starters. You are required to go at least 6 innings. At least 6. Yes, definitely required from this point forward. Right, Scott?
100%. There is no one that can go underneath that. The bar is at 6 or you get left in Cincinnati, no matter where they're playing. Cincinnati.
Yeah. Brandon says, thoughts on moving Rushing to left field next year to have Ben be our backup guy. I love what do you think about next year questions? Don't trust Vestia. Roki might be our closer. Surprised no Scott in the 9th. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised that Tanner Scott.
A lot to break down there.
Yeah. Thank goodness for that. Do you have any thoughts on Dalton Rushing the left fielder and Ben Rortvedt as the backup catcher?
No, Ben Rortvedt is here for a short time. I don't think for a long time. I'm not prepared to move Dalton Rushing off a position that he's has a lot of plus stuff at it. I'm good on that. Brandon, I appreciate you. Thanks for all the support here, but no, I'm good on that one for now.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
Yeah.
Ozzy, supposed to celebrate after you win the wild card, right? Look, these stupid 3-game series, after we were down 2-0 in the first inning because of that stupid error by Teoscar Hernandez, hell yeah, we're celebrating this thing because anything dumb can happen. It almost did, and the Dodgers survived. So yes, celebrations abound. David, is Mookie Betts the MVP for the wild card series? Thankfully, that's not a real award. Who is a close second? Hernandez's were good too. Page's no hits in both games. Teoscar disqualified himself today from being the MVP of this series. He made up for it later, but still disqualified. Shohei, Mookie, who do you have? I mean, Mookie today, 4 for 5 with 3 doubles, 3 RBIs. Unbelievable stuff from Mookie. He was, I keep telling, he was the best hitter on the Dodgers for the postseason last year. Like OPS, entire postseason, 950 for Mookie Betts.
You're
He's
reeling
doing
me
it
in
again.
with this.
What's that?
You're reeling me in with this. You know me. I held the 50 deniers down all year long. Woo.
Wow. You and me both. You and me
man.
both. And
Yes, sir.
there's shambles. There's people in shambles tonight watching Mookie Betts do what he did. But Ohtani 1 for 4 with an RBI, obviously 2 home runs last night. Mookie Betts playing good at shortstop. Good defense at short is probably the tiebreaker to me. Maybe it's recency bias because Ohtani hit 2 homers last night. But yeah, I'll go Mookie Betts. Best
We
player
even talk
in this
about
series.
the short hop. The short hop, the liner at
Get the
short.
out at
He
home.
sets his feet, fires home. Talk to him right to Benny Rowe. Yeah, I mean, look, if you say Teoscar Hernandez is disqualified because of the play, I mean, I can get on board with that. He big performance yesterday. I loved it. He didn't miss mistakes. I love the fact that he took a fastball oppo. That makes me feel things, chat. That makes me feel things I can't say on here. But Mookie Betts overall, he looks like a linchpin in the lineup. How much do we have to talk about pitching around Shohei Ohtani to get to a first ballot Hall of Famer and Mookie Betts, who's going to finish top 40, top 50 all time in WAR? So let's stop doing this. If you're going to,
I tweeted it. I said they're walking Ohtani to get to our best hitter. And what did he do? He ropes a double next pitch.
He's great. It's unbelievable. He's on a heater. He looks so good. Like 6 for 9 in the series. Come on, man.
Our guy Blake just hopped in the chat. Welcome, Blake. Do you want some more Mookie Betts talk here, Blake? 4 for 5 tonight with 3 doubles.
He says Benny Rowe,
by the way, be the MVP for this.
He's
series.
doing his thing though. He's doing his job. Benny Rowe's doing his thing.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's
I
great.
just watched it. I'm like, this guy has a horseshoe stuck somewhere, and as long as it stays for the next month, I'll buy a Ben Rortvedt jersey if this keeps.
He is a lunch pail guy. He is first in, last out. Yes, all the things.
He's just a bigger Austin Barnes. He's just jacked Austin Barnes. That's what we're looking at. I just love that, like, a guy on first, 1 out, they're like, drop the bunt, Ben, drop the bunt. And he's freaking doing it.
Teams are doing it, though. Teams are doing it now. Teams are doing it. They're around. If you watch or look around the league, there are a lot more teams who are just getting a guy in a scoring position with 2 outs. I've seen it quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. 300 says, I think the issue Smith is throwing, that snapping of your hand puts a lot of stress on it. I think it's lots of things. That's the issue for Will Smith. I'll say a lot of people wrote him off as even being available for the wild card series. The fact that he was able to get live BP in and they kept him on the roster, I think is telling. So cross your fingers, Dodgers fans, because if Will Smith is available at some point in this postseason, in this NLDS, the Dodgers are going to come up in a big spot and need a big hit. And if Will Smith can't catch, but is available to take a swing for you, that's going to be huge for the Dodgers. So we just got to hope for some good news about his hand over the next couple of days.
That was it for me.
What's that?
That was it for me. Like, that was my whole pause with Will Smith. Is he going to be able to handle the catch position? And Jeff, around the league, what better bat than having a Will Smith who says he's good to go coming off the bench there in a big spot?
Yeah.
Just nothing. Nobody better.
Nothing. Phil says their starters for the playoffs were set. They didn't need Sheehan for his last 2 starts. They had the option. Nerves is why you move him then and get reps, because he could have pitched 5 or so times out of the bullpen. I see what you're saying, Phil, and I think 5 or so times would mean you would have had to make this decision with like 10 to 14 days left in the regular season. And my only pushback would be, if nerves is why you move them, I don't think like a game in Arizona in mid-September is going to simulate the nerves that he's going to experience tonight. So I think we all agree that in a best case scenario, you would have loved to do that. I think just given the circumstances, it was 50-50 on what makes the most sense. They chose the route they did. And ultimately, I will say I'm still going to be confident the next time he comes out of the bullpen. I'm not going to hate it. I just think he needed to get this one out of the system, flush it, and bounce back. I think he's going to be able to. So we'll see. We'll see how she bounces back. Jay Teaser says Yosh is a golden god, especially in the playoffs. Absolutely. Blue FE 2019 Washington Nationals had a bad bullpen. They had to ride the hell out of their starting pitchers. Their bullpen was ranked near last. We can do it. Was it Patrick Corbin who got Daniel Hudson got the last out of that one, right?
Yes, sir. Patrick Corbin, Daniel Hudson, Steven Strasburg, those guys, Max Scherzer, they rode themselves into the ground, and that was a hell of a performance there. And yes, it can be done again. Steven Strasburg and Patrick Corbin gave up prime years of their careers. Steven Strasburg gave up his entire career and got paid to win that 2019 ring. And that's grittiness at its finest. Why can't they do it again?
Yeah, that's some Walker Buehler stuff right there.
Oh,
Gabriel says, and that's all she wrote. Game over. Dodgers win, baby. 2 down, 11 to go. Go Dodgers. Absolutely. J-Rod says, I'll admit I was wrong about Roki coming back. I'm
it's
in the same
okay.
boat. We
It's
were
okay.
like, why are we still talking about Roki Sasaki? He looks terrible. He's not coming back this season. Miraculous. The Dodgers pitching department, maybe our guy Rob Hill doing a little sprinkling some pixie dust down there. Lance Brzezowski came on our show and talked about that there were like some things that they needed to clean up fundamentally and in his delivery. So apparently they got some of that stuff right, and he looks a completely
you get some mechanical stuff right, and he unlocks 100 101, right? How does that work? That's crazy.
Exactly. Jay Teaser, do you think Doc will go Roki on back-to-backs? We talked about this. We both say yes. If they need him,
we're getting to that point.
Cantankerous says other Dodgers players do Yoshi dirty, errors, no runs, blowing wins, and no-nos, but he doesn't complain and has the best attitude. Other players love him. It's a great point. Like even on the night where he gets run support, Scott, he can't get defensive support. Nothing can ever be easy for this guy.
He is getting the Clayton Kershaw support that happened for quite a bit of years. He would get none. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, it's happening.
Gabriel says, I've been using this quote from the Police Academy franchise whenever Yamamoto takes the mound. Yama, 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 Yama. Have you seen the video, by the way? Have you seen the Yamamoto song?
I have not.
Wow.
Oh, the one dude? I've seen it pop around, but I'll be honest. I've never let it play through.
Click next time, Scotty. It's
okay. I got it. I gotcha.
It's good stuff. Ram Lakers, will Kershaw be a piggyback after a Shohei Glasnow start going 2+ innings? What do you think? You think Kershaw's a piggyback guy, or you think he's just a true reliever?
Depends how it shakes out. I've been on record that I'm not a big fan of designated set piggyback stuff. I think the playoffs are too fluid to lock those type of things in. It puts you in odd scenarios there, because if you're just like today, like Zach Lytle was, I expected one time through. He ends up going an inning or 2 innings in a third. And then you go to Lodolo, who doesn't look good, and they rip him immediately. I know different things, but that's how it kind of shakes out. I'm more on just be ready, get at the ready, and if the game script calls for it and it plays out that way, then sure. I'm not dead set on locking someone into that scenario, which is why I'm like, have Clayton Kershaw be ready to go 1 inning. If he can go 2 innings, great. But I don't want to just lock in on people on piggyback roles.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just don't like the pre-planned stuff, and I think with a guy like Kershaw, you don't need to in that scenario. So there we go. Some good news here for you, Scott. Our guy Todd says, I missed this playoff. Scott and Blake post-game. No ill will intended, Jeff. None taken. Let our ace starters go deep. Let Dave do his reliever dance. I smell a repeat. The only issue here for me, Scott, is let Dave do his reliever dance.
I was going to say, what dance was he doing? He looked pissed. He looked pissed. He looked like me in my living room watching that game.
Totally. We were already doing the pacing to the back wall in my house. So that's a bad sign when it's game 2 of the wild card with a game already in hand. So, by the way, Sandy wants to know, are you 10 a.m. or noon tomorrow?
We're going to go, I think we're going to go 10 a.m. I got to let chat. I think 10 a.m. is great, but a lot of people said noon. I'll touch base with the suits at DB, the higher ups there, and we'll let everybody know on social media there. But if we've got a lot of good support with the noon hour, we might keep it there for the postseason. I'll keep you guys posted tonight.
There you go. JY says the Roki Sasaki I've watched in NPB is back. I mean, let's hope. They just need him to be a reliever. We don't need you to be an ace. Just be a reliever, baby.
He looks so good, man. Like when you just look at a reliever and you're like, just go 1, 2, 3. Just make it easy on yourself. Just throw your best stuff. Yeah, it just looked good. Yeah, big sigh of relief there.
Aaron said, I agree with Scott. Vesia, Dreyer, Sheehan all struggled. We all said we trusted those guys 2 days ago. One shaky outing doesn't erase my confidence in them. I'll say this, like I said it last night, Dreyer comes in with the bases loaded. He walks one guy, but then gets 2 outs. I'm like, on the whole, I'll accept that from Jack Dreyer. You come in with the bases loaded and 1 out, you give up 1 run. That's not a negative for me. I also said regarding Alex Vesia, I've made a new rule for myself, Scott. If you are a Dodgers reliever that does not allow a run, I will not say bad things about you. So Alex Vesia up and to the right, as far as I'm concerned. Wasn't pretty. No runs allowed. Good enough for me.
There you go. Yeah, it goes against the process. It goes against the process results thing. But for the postseason, like I said, it's always a fluid scenario. So if it comes with a 0, it is what it is.
Yeah. GFTG says, probably a dumb question. Do you think the plan for Roki long-term is still to be a starter? Undoubtedly. Yes. They are hoping that he will be able to start for him. But
100%.
If he does something nice this postseason, I think it at least gives them a fallback plan they know they can count on if the starting thing doesn't work out. But what he looks like now is not what he looked like when he was failing as a starter. So that's why I think there's still
different guy.
Andrew said, anyone seen the bad ESPN scoring on the box score? The ESPN score bug, I wanted to put my head through a wall. Roki comes in. It says he's at 14 pitches. When Vesia's in, they got the wrong bases colored. Like, they had the count wrong 50% of the time. Unbelievably bad from ESPN.
When you're trying to watch the game, they give you a WNBA promo, Jeff.
Don't even get me started.
Hunter Pence said that Justin Turner was on the Phillies at the end in the post game, and just all up and to the right for ESPN, right, Jeff?
People loved that tweet that I sent out. It was like 90% positive and 10% like, why are you crying, bro? To my ESPN tweet from last night. And I just
ESPN
love it.
sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
It does. That was my thing. It's like, I understand like the people that were like, bro, who cares? But at the same time, I was like, but this sucked. Like, yes,
Yeah.
but also this was stupid. So,
Yeah, it was.
There you go. We got a super chat here, Scott, from Rosemary says, 10 a.m. I get to watch at work before my boss shows up, Scott.
Oh,
so
man.
that's a pretty compelling argument, although most people would probably say noon is their lunch break.
I would say so.
Rosemary, what we need is we need you to get your boss on board. Get us another subscriber. Tell your boss, Dodger Blue 1958, hit the subscribe, ring the notification bell.
All of it. I will open up the tier 1 list for 2 more for you, Rosemary, and your boss. So tier 1 list is still open just for that.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's go over real quick, just kind of a brief recap, just from a box score perspective. Dodgers finished this one 8 runs, 13 hits, 3 walks, just 3 strikeouts for the Dodgers, which not entirely surprising given who was starting for the Reds. Mookie Betts, the star on offense, 4 for 5, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, and a run scored for him. Kiké, 2 for 5. Miguel Rojas, 2 for 4. Rortvedt, 2 for 3 with, did he have 1 or 2 sacrifices? I forget. 1 sacrifice for him. So kudos
when he
to
reached.
That. Yeah, and reached.
Yeah.
Muncy, 1 for 3. Teo, 1 for 5. Otani, 1 for 4. Freddie Freeman, Freddie Freeman and Pages, both 0 for 4. The only 2 guys. Also the only 2 guys to strike out, although Freddie did get an intentional walk later in the game, which is hilarious based on how he's hitting. Yamamoto, 6 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, no earned, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Treinen gets 1 out, 2 pitches, 2 strikes. Sheehan struggles, a third of an inning, 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs. Vesia, 2/3 of an inning, 2 strikeouts and a walk. And then Roki Sasaki, a perfect inning with 2 strikeouts. Anything else from that besides Mookie, besides Yamamoto, besides Sasaki? Anybody else jumping out to you? Are you worried about Pages 0 for 4? Are you worried about a Freddie Freeman 0 for on a night like tonight?
No, I'm not. Freddie maybe a little bit, but Freddie even last night showed he's got the pop in him. Freddie Freeman's one of the most professional hitters in Major League Baseball. We know what he can do. It falls in line with my theory that, we've seen them do it before. He understands the heartbeat and the things like that. Freddie Freeman's preparation is second to none. So until we see a sustained period of downplay from him, I can't get myself into that mode. It's the same thing with Mookie Betts there. But aside from that, Jeff, the fact that you've got Miguel Rojas out here, who's going up there competing, Tommy Edman, who's going to go up there and compete, Ben Rortvedt, they've got a lot of guys and role player pieces right now, Jeff, that are going to go out there. They kind of understand the assignment, and they're going to go out there and do their job, whether it's laying down a sacrifice bunt, multiple of them. They're doing their thing.
Ben got 2 bunts down.
Ben got 2 bunts down. The only thing I would say, Andy Pages, I know, is kicking himself because he struck out on a spinning slider down and in. And I know that we've seen him pull that and hook that for a massive moonshot homer down the left field line so many times before. And I know he wants that pitch back. So no, the only one I think that has some little bit of red flags is Max Muncy. He's the only one I'm keeping my eye on because he's a big piece. We know he's playing through some injury right now.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other side of things, the one thing I was going to say, we mentioned kind of Francona before you hopped on, just a weird sort of game for him, the pinch hit with 2 strikes and going to a pinch hitter. The other one, and there were rumors of injuries, but Lodolo threw 14 pitches in this game and then came out. And when every Dodgers fan is celebrating a guy not being back in there, it's probably the wrong move. Now, I know there was a groin thing. I know he pitched in relief the other day, but he was the best pitcher the Reds had, and he only got 5 outs for them, which ended up being a gift for the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was. I definitely, that move. It's just he didn't look great, but he was getting it done. I think that Terry Francona felt that it could have, slid a little bit farther. But was the better option Nick Martinez? Was that the better option? I know he's had some success against the Dodgers, but was that it? And if you're going to go to Chase Burns later in the game when it's out of reach, just go to him immediately. He's got the best stuff in that bullpen, clearly, second to none. Throws 101 there. It felt I don't know. I don't know what Terry Francona was thinking there. Veteran manager, been there, done that. He's storied. He's got his accolades there. So I'm not going to dunk on him from that sense. But I think he felt the pressure of it. And his biggest misstep was going to Nick Martinez going to Nick Martinez instead of a guy like Chase Burns, who was going to keep the foot on the gas with that filthy stuff. Because Lodolo, I know he's the best pitcher that could have come out of that pen aside from Chase Burns, but it didn't look like he had it very much. His spray pattern was weird. But it just felt like as long as he's getting zeros, Jeff, just let him see what he's got. Like the game's still kind of in hand. Go from there.
Yeah. Some quotes starting to come out of the Dodgers clubhouse. Dave Roberts was asked, is Roki Sasaki the Dodgers closer now? And this was his answer. I trust him, and he's going to be pitching in leverage. So the more you pitch guys and play guys, you learn more. I don't think the moment is going to be too big for Roki. So big spot there for Dave Roberts.
Spot. I like it. We like it, though.
Yeah. Dave has also exactly. Dave has also confirmed, by the way, that Shohei Ohtani will pitch game 1 of the NLDS. So he's got that going as well. Todd with another super chat. I see this in the LDS. Game 1, Ohtani. Game 2, Glass. Now game 3, Snell. Game 4, Yamamoto. Kershaw relieves anybody who struggles early. We were talking this through early, Todd, and I would guess the more likely scenario is you could go Ohtani game 1, Snell game 2, Yamamoto game 3, and then Glass now game 4. That would be my guess. Clearly they view Yamamoto and Snell as in a tier of their own. And so if you can get those guys, Snell would be pitching, I believe, on 5 days rest. Yamamoto would be pitching on 6 days rest. So if you could pull things off that way and then get Ohtani back for game 5 as needed, that would be a full week for him and no game the very next day, which is what they're trying to avoid. So we talked earlier, but that makes the most sense to me, Scott. So, that's how I would play things out.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some questions, all caps questions. Throw those in the chat and we will answer as many of those as we can. As always, thank you to the 6,500 people in here that have hopped in with us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. We appreciate you. Again, those listening after the fact via podcast. The Dodgers win against the Reds. They sweep the Reds and advance to play the Phillies. That series will start on Saturday night. Shohei Ohtani confirmed for the Dodgers. And we'll see how this one plays out. But Scott, real quick, Phillies, Dodgers, this matchup, we mentioned it earlier. You don't sound overly concerned. I imagine you're picking the Dodgers, but how big of a test do you think the Phillies are going to be?
Oh, they're a big test. They're a big test. I'm purely speaking to that. It was the same problem that plagued them. It was the final game. Blake Snell looked terrific. It definitely could have been a different series if the bullpen doesn't have some, those blow up spots. If Justin Robleski doesn't give up 5 in a third of an inning, stuff like that. I think the game script is going to be really solid against them. We might see, like I said, the wealth of lefties that they got, and then Roki Sasaki, Blake Treinen at the back end. You're going to see that same type of stuff. The Dodgers offense got to the Phillies starting pitching, who came in looking real good. Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, and Jesus Luzardo. Without Zach Wheeler, that's a huge blow to what the Phillies have going in their starting rotation there. And Aaron Nola is not pitching like how he usually is in years past. So you're going to get those same lefties. You already got to see them, and you took care of business against them. It's just a matter of limiting the damage against the lefties. I understand the pause with the overall bullpen and what has happened recently. But Dave Roberts has been shuffling the deck and where to deploy some of these guys. But when it comes down to specialist roles, I think the Dodgers lefties feel good about where they're at. But it's just all right-handed lineups here. It hasn't looked pretty. But go look at how the game logs were. Go look at the box score from that series in mid-September in Dodger Stadium. I think that's generally how the Dodgers are going to position themselves outside from some blow-up outings. If Dave Roberts can stop those before it gets too far, we're going to see some positive outcomes here.
Yeah. Juan with the super chat here says, what time will the NLDS game start? Do you think it'll be interesting? Dodgers and Phillies presumably will be the marquee matchup. However, that will be the only game played in the Eastern time zone. I'm bad with time zones, but the other series is going to be at the furthest east would be either Chicago or Milwaukee. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, if that's the Eastern time zone, my bad. But so it'll be interesting. I could see it possibly being like a 4:00 game on the West Coast because it's a 7 p.m. East Coast game, but we'll see. We'll see how all that shakes out on both Saturday and Monday. Saturday, it could be like everybody is playing on Saturday, and then Monday would be exclusively the NL team. So, it looks like 6:30. Oh, excuse me. It looks like they've already got a time for 3:38 on Saturday is game
Pacific.
one. So,
Yeah,
3:38
Pacific.
Yeah, 6:38 Eastern. That's Dodgers at Phillies. That'll be on TBS, so we don't have to worry about ESPN, True TV, and HBO Max, apparently, for anybody that was curious. This is according to MLB.com. Aaron wants to know, you got any predictions for tomorrow's game threes, Scott? Sandy wants to know, by the way, are we rooting for San Diego to play the Brewers? The answer is no. We are literally never rooting for San Diego. We hope they lose. We hope they lose in the most horrific fashion possible. So
Correct.
no, we are not rooting for San Diego. But other than that,
correct.
Scott, predictions.
Yeah, correct. I already prayed on Jeff McNeil's downfall, and it happened. So I'm 1 for 1 there. Mike Schilt, I'm praying on his downfall. So if I'm 2 for 2, then I'm cooking. But predictions for tomorrow's game, Aaron, a blowout win for the Dodgers. Wheels up, head to Philadelphia. Sit back and relax. They're going to start Ben Rortvedt on the mound, and he's going to throw a complete game, and that's how it's going to go. So just sit back, relax. Benny Rose got it done. Easy sweep, expanded sweep.
I'm going Detroit in tomorrow for one reason and one reason alone. Our guy Jack Flaherty on the mound. You better believe Big Game Jack's coming home with the win in that one. We've got Yu Darvish versus Jameson Taillon. I never know how to pronounce that.
Jameson Taillon. Yeah.
Taillon, is that how you pronounce it? Thank you.
Yeah.
Give me the Cubs all day, every day. Give me the Cubs. And then a gentleman by the name of Connolly Early. If I told you that was a real player, would you believe me?
He pumps,
Scott?
buddy. He pumps. He shoves, man. He's got some velo to him. Hey.
It's a classic Yankees Red Sox matchup. Connolly Early versus Cam Schlittler. So big time stuff there.
Good matchup.
I hate Boston. So apologies to Boston Blake, our guy, but I'm rooting for the Yankees. I want nothing good for the people of Boston. Patriots fans, Celtics fans, get them all out of here. So there you go.
Good matchup there. I'll be watching it.
Is for comeback player of the year, is his Roki jersey that he bought for $25 on DHgate in March, is it eligible for comeback player of the year, do you think, Scott?
I would say no. Missed too much time. I would say no.
Well, no, he wants to know if his jersey that he bought.
Oh, jersey. Sorry about that.
An absolute lighted on fire a couple months ago. Now it's back in vogue. Is the jersey the comeback player of the year?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we'll see. Outside, I would say so. Signs, yes. W signs.
There we go. Joaquin says, if Snell goes game 2, would you be worried about Glasnow going too many days between starts? That would be, of all the things I could worry about, that would not be high on my list. Like, I understand the question. I think it's a reasonable one, but it's not enough of a concern for me to say, well, okay, we'll let Snell and Yamamoto go later in this series. So they'll figure it out. He could throw a simulated game or something.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, side session there, get him out there, put him in a simulated game, get him some time early on. You'll have an elevated bullpen day there, work in some up downs, stuff like that, that keep him hot. He's a professional. He knows how to do this. Good question, though. Good concern.
Eden wants to know, do you think Will Smith starts game 1?
I'm still going to say no. I don't know if we're there yet.
Yeah. I'm with you. It just feels like it's too big of a hurdle for him to have not played yet. Mateus says, why are you all treating like Glasnow like some bum? Did I miss something? I love the dude. So fun to watch. I think you're misinterpreting. Nobody is disrespecting Tyler Glasnow. We're simply saying he's not as good as Shohei Ohtani, Blake Snell, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And if somebody wants to argue with me about that, find me in my mentions. I'm ready for that one. Glasnow's amazing. Yeah. He's the best number 4 starter I've ever seen in my life. He is also clearly and unquestionably the number 4 starter on this team. So that's what I got to say. You agree, Scott?
100%. It just flat out comes down to guys performing right in front of him. You can't argue with the fact that you've got Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, all right in front of him. It's just a matter of numbers and the days off and how things line up and maximizing your pieces of the roster and maximizing your starters. Yeah, there's no Glasnow disrespect here. I love him. I'm a big fan. When he's on, he's on. I wanted to work him into a game as a reliever to keep him hot. But it just didn't play out that way. You got to put him in the best spot to succeed. And I believe they'll do that.
To the Glasnow disrespect crowd, I just want to know, why do you hate Yoshinobu Yamamoto so much? I mean, it's crazy to me. It's crazy.
Valid.
Unacceptable. Vinny says, how likely is it 1 to 10 that Roki was playing possum all year? 0 would be
0. Negative 1,000.
Guy almost never came back.
You think he wanted to throw 93? No chance.
Jason asks, will it be beneficial that the Phils haven't seen Roki 2.0 version? When I read this question initially, Scott, I was like, this is one advantage the Dodgers pitchers have. Nobody will have any clue what any pitcher coming out of the bullpen is going to look like. There will be no predictability. It's like, oh, Emmett Sheehan, I know what he throws. Is he going to throw it straight today? Is it going to be left? Is it going to be right? Is it going to be up? I mean, all these guys are going to be ticking time bombs and wild cards. Maybe this is an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Roki Sasaki on that front, Emmett Sheehan coming out of the bullpen. If he gets a start, that'll be the decider, man. That'll be different stuff there. I mean, Justin Robleski, they've seen him. Jack Dreyer, they've seen him. Anthony Bonda, we hope goes back on the roster there. And Blake Trinan, he had that blow up outing. Remember, he just stuff didn't look crisp, man. He gave up the homer to that backup catcher there, Marchand. I can't get it out of my mind. The most flat cutter I've ever seen. He'd like to have that one back. All right. That's stuff that was rare. The occurrence of that stuff will not happen again in those spots. That's why I've got confidence in it. Edgardo Enriquez, Jeff, do we see him on the DS roster?
No, it's a no for me. I would take Ben Kasparius. I wanted Ben Kasparius before. The thing about Enriquez is, like, we get obsessed. It's the Brusdar Gratterall thing too. And like, Brusdar's a better pitcher, but like, we get obsessed with watching a guy throw 101, which is great. But at some point you need to miss bats. He doesn't miss any bats, and he can't throw strikes. Like, you can't have both of those things be true of you. You could throw 112. If you can't throw strikes and you can't miss bats, then I'm out on you. Give me Kasparius to go get righties, to throw some strikes. Like, tomorrow, there's somebody tell me you would feel more confident with Enriquez coming into a game tomorrow than Ben Kasparius. I think you're lying. I
would take Will Klein 10 times over Edgardo Enriquez right now. I was blown away that
eligible, by the way. Our understanding is that because of when he was sent down, he cannot be on the roster until the NLCS.
So it's just, that's why it was so perplexing to me. His stuff looked good, and he eliminated his walk issues for, at least a couple outings there, but his stuff just looked so filthy. And he had the moxie on the mound. He had the big balls on the mound that he's like, I'm up here. I'm going to throw, I've got unbelievable stuff. I'm going to fill up the zone. It was just that one felt like more of like a behind the back door politics move where they're like, nah, we can't carry Will Klein. He hasn't been here long enough. That felt like one of those moves, regardless of how good he looked.
Yeah, it was bizarre. A couple more questions here. Paul wants to know, will Tanner Scott be put in high leverage situations? This is not asking Scott if you want him to be put in high leverage situations. The question is, will he be put in high leverage situations? And regrettably, my answer to this question is going to be yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes as well, because, Paul, good thing you brought this up, because I spoke with Anthony earlier today, Jeff, about it. If Dave Roberts wasn't going to use Tanner Scott and what we all thought was just going to be like a multi-inning role, just get his feet wet in the postseason, get a positive thing, you're up 10-2, whatever. He went to his leverage guys, right?
Crazy.
How do you think, and he was carried on the roster, how do you think Tanner Scott's going to be used when they actually have a true save scenario? Yep. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to want it to happen, but I can see a world in a scenario where Dave's like, Tanner, pick up a ball, call down the bullpen, have him get loose. I can see it.
I said it last night. I'm like, Vesia comes in early. That tells you one thing. They were not going to Vesia late. And if they weren't going to Vesia late, it was going to be Tanner Scott, it seems like. Last question here, a good one to go out on. Jay Teaser wants to know, Scott, if you could go to any of the starters for a final deciding game, who would you hand the ball to? Do you want Ohtani? Do you want Yamamoto? Or do you want Blake Snell?
Oh, man. It's a really tough question. Because we haven't seen Ohtani pitch in the postseason yet. And we know the length of it. But if he's able, Jeff, before I answer this, because you probably are going to know my answer, how far do you think they allow Ohtani to go? Do you think the wheels are off right now? Do you think the training wheels are off, or he's limited to about 6, possibly 7?
I mean, I just find it hard to believe he's going to get past 6 from a pitch count perspective.
For
not
sure,
because
chasing
training wheels
strikeouts
on, just because of how he pitches. But I have to imagine they're not pulling him at like 90 pitches in a close game. So I think the training wheels are off, and it's all full speed ahead.
I'm gonna say Shohei Ohtani from a stuff standpoint for sure. I think that they're with the the evolution of his curveball here and how he feels right now, and then his sweeper's in a good place, fastball velocity's in a good spot. He's pitching with good rhythm. I'm gonna say that just because I'm curious to see it. And I see a lot of people saying Yoshinobu for sure. You can't go wrong with any of these options, but purely from a stuff standpoint, I want to see Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, with fielding independent pitching fit. Shohei Ohtani was the best pitcher in Major League Baseball this season for guys that threw as many innings as him. So I think it's a fair one. And I think, to me, like, the point is you cannot go wrong. You can't go wrong with any of these guys. And like, Blake Snell was so good last night.
Yeah,
like,
man.
So good.
Game one
Yamamoto was
guy.
great tonight. Like, it's hard because if Teoscar just catches that ball in the first, I think I feel a little bit differently about the outing that we just saw from Yamamoto. At the same time, the fact that he gets out of that jam in the sixth, like, it's literally 50.1 to 49.9 to me when I'm thinking about Snell versus Yamamoto. And I think Ohtani's right there too, but I'll take Snell. And we probably both sound like idiots on a night that Yamamoto pitched so great. But
Nah, it's all good. Hey, no wrong answer with this. There's a world where all of them get the ball there, and that's the beauty of that. Now you get to go out into a 5-game set, and hopefully you're able to get to a 7-game set, and that's when you push the depth of teams around the league.
Yeah.
Can you hold up against a starting pitching unit with this much depth, pitching this hungry with this much responsibility that they're up for? By the way, they're up for this task, and can they do it? So we'll see what the Philadelphia Phillies have.
Yeah, absolutely. And is the Glass Now crowd in there? Is anybody saying Glass Now, or is there some?
I didn't see a one.
Again? Todd asked Jeff, who is better, Scott, Blake, or Daniel?
Oh,
First
gosh.
of all, Moreno just gets left out of this altogether. So poor Moreno. Witrado's nowhere to be found. Our guy Bruce doesn't get a mention here. But here's what I'm going to say. This
Give
is
it to
like
the
asking
OG.
me to choose between Snell, Ohtani, and Yamamoto. I'll let you guess which one is which. But it's 50.1 to 49.9. And in honor of my guy Scott, who's here, I'm just going to sit right on the fence on this one.
Oh, that's okay. Give it to the OG Daniel. He's been here, man. Give it to the OG Dan. That's fine. I'm good with that for sure.
Daniel did get to live the 2020 World Series championship with me, which is the greatest sports moment of my life. But it's great. I honestly, and I mean this sincerely, I love the diversity of voices that we have from a perspective of like how different the show is every single time, depending on who's with me. And I think everybody is very good. And I'm not just saying this and blowing smoke, but like, I really think it's great when I come on with you because it's so different than when I come on with Anthony. And it's so different than when I'm on with Bruce or Matt or Daniel. So I just love that I get to be the point guard that passes to each of you guys. Obviously, I told you, I'm glad you're back in the mix with us, doing Unplugged in the morning and filling in at night. So we got lots of great people on this show, and it's good. It's good. So no complaints all the way around. It's like the Dodgers starting pitching staff. Maybe Moreno gets to be Clayton Kershaw in this analogy, but I don't know if he'd find that disrespectful or not. But who knows?
He'd say he can throw harder than that. That's what he would say.
Yeah. Cantankerous says I ain't Magic Johnson. That's true. Just a couple differences between me and Magic Johnson, but other than that,
just a few.
Just basically, it was funny. My wife isn't going to watch the show, so it's fine. I can say this, but they cut to Magic Johnson and she like paused for a second and she goes, "Oh, it's MJ." And I'm like,
"Oh."
I mean, technically, yes. She's like, "Magic Johnson." And I'm like, "Yeah, those are his initials, but you can't call him that." Like, I get it's not like entirely wrong, and yet it's also like the most wrong thing you've ever said. So
amazing.
Anyways, it was fantastic. So shout out to my
wife.
What
a gem.
Yeah, exactly. Watch the whole game with me. So yeah, someone clip it and send it to his wife. Good luck. Good luck with that. That's going to do it for us tonight, folks. We appreciate all of you for hopping in. That is Scott Geirman. He's going to be live on this channel at either 10 a.m. or noon, one or the other. Just subscribe, ring the notification bell. You'll get a notification when we figure out what time that is going to be. Bruce,
I think we're going noon, Jeff.
What's that?
I think my mind's telling me we're going noon. Rosemary, see you at noon.
There you go. It's 10:33. Scott needs his beauty sleep. He'll be on at noon.
Do.
Bruce Kuntz and I will be live tomorrow night doing a show as well. Might be just more of a fun show, talking Phillies, previewing that, but also just celebrating and reacting. So that should be a good one. And then we're back Saturday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. No, Wednesday night. Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. We will be here live on this channel after every single one of those games. So be sure to be right here. We had tons of great content. Jeff Erickson, all sorts of people previewing the series. We're going to aim to do that again in the next couple of days. So stay tuned with that. Charlie with the super chat. I'm worried about our bullpen. Rewind to the beginning of the show. Scott's going to talk you off the ledge with the bullpen.
A little bit, just a little bit. And then I let you know I can't stand him either, but I'm just a little bit.
And our guy, Aaron, he's optimistic. He's like, hey, we had 0 good guys 2 days ago. Now I like Trinan and I like Roki Sasaki. 2 is more than 0. So I like Aaron's math on that one as well. Folks, enjoy the rest of your night. Check out DodgerBlue.com. Stay right here. All the post-game content, press conferences, interviews, all that stuff right here. Matt crushing it, covering the Dodgers for us. Blake crushing it, getting all that stuff uploaded. DodgerBlue.com will have all the latest news and notes, roster stuff when it comes out. Dodger Blue 1958 on social media as well. Folks, enjoy the rest of your night. Dodgers beat the Reds. They sweep. They get the night off tomorrow, back in action at 3:38 on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your night. As always, go Dodgers. And yes, still freaking champs.